And we are back, everybody, to episode 30 of the Jader and Kyle show. Jader, we made it to the big 3-0. How you
We
feeling?
did. I'm feeling great right now.
Dude,
Feeling great. We have a major episode. I've been looking forward for this episode. I've been trying to recruit people. We got a star-studded fucking cast with us tonight.
yes.
You
Some new
know,
faces, some
I
old faces.
I've been drinking. It's been fucking feeling great.
hmm
I'm hyped. I am hyped.
I'm so ready to do this. And we've been talking, guys, the movie draft is back today, and we could not be more excited. We did this about 11 weeks ago at this point, and it was a huge hit. You guys all loved it so much. So I'm so glad we're back. We're doing it, and we're doing it big this time. It's going to be, instead of a certain year, we're going to be doing comic book movies. Jader, it's probably the biggest genre out there, right?
Right now, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, everybody again kind of gets bored when we start talking comic book. Not bored, I want to say, but fatigued, I guess, because it's been so in your face and all that, over and over and over again. But this is not your typical just MCU, DCEU or DC films. We're gonna dive deep into some comic book knowledge or comic book film knowledge, if you will, with the best of the best that are out there, at least, and some people that, I looked as, as a fan, and now, I can call these guys our peers. So it's pretty fucking awesome that these guys are joining us tonight. Big hype, big hype for this episode. And without further ado, man, I don't know if you're down. Just let's just
start one at a time. Who's our first guest, Jader?
Oh man, don't put me on the spot, man. That's some fucking terrible shit.
Did some recruiting.
All right, so we're gonna do it in order of appearance, I guess. So first up, man, we have our boy Robert Parker coming in.
Hello.
What up, Rob?
How's it going, man? Thank you very much for having me. This is gonna be fun. I'm really excited.
Welcome to the show, dude. Welcome to the show. We've been, back and forth on this thing. I know you took a little social media hiatus for a little bit.
I did, yeah.
Obviously, schedules and what have you, tournaments and all that. We've been all really, really busy, but so glad you can finally make it. Honestly, I would have loved for you to be on the show on a solo episode so people get to know you a little bit better. But what better intro to have you than drafting a draft episode, comic book films, which if you want to, right now, just give a little background on who you are, how we know each other, and floor is yours, boss.
Yeah, for sure. So I know Jader. I met Kyle for the first time tonight, which is great to finally meet Kyle. I've known Jader. We originally met at the draft for the Schmodown back in January. So we're both competitors over there. I play pretty exclusively so far, at least in the Inner Geekdom division, which is basically comic book movies as a huge wedge of the questions that are asked about. So I'm pretty well versed in those movies, the trivia about them, that kind of stuff. And yeah, comic book movies, superhero movies have been my thing forever. From the original Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies when I was a kid growing up, I really credit those as getting me into Marvel, but into superheroes in general. So I love this genre. Obviously grew up alongside the MCU in a lot of ways. So I'm pumped to get to talking with the other panelists too. This is a great panel.
So you're pretty much well, no, not pretty much. You are the only person that has not been on the show previously. So
Sure.
I don't know if you want to give a quick, little, we're going to give Robert actually a quick little interview. So
sure.
What's up, dude? Basically, how did you find the Schmodown? How did they find you?
Sure.
Give us a little background on that.
Yeah, so I found the Schmodown through, I was working in a movie theater in high school, and the guy who was my boss, who actually went on to become my now brother-in-law, introduced me to the Schmoes and introduced me to the Schmodown as one of my other coworkers, who was one of the original, like, really old school reactors. His name was Jeff. So that's how I got into it. I got into the fan leagues, started playing there. I played there for like 3 years, and then started the conversation. Got reached out to by Christian just to kind of see how if it would be possible logistically. Obviously, I live in Wisconsin, which is not close to LA, as you know, Jader. Traveling for that kind of thing is it can be a hassle.
Literally I am literally on the complete opposite end of the country, like the furthest possible end of the country, dude. So
exactly.
I feel you 100% on that.
Absolutely. But yeah, we got it to work, and through it, I've been able to meet so many incredible people, share my love of these types of movies, be introduced to other people's love of that kind of movies, and that's what I love. I love celebrating mutual love for this kind of stuff.
Well, Robert, we're happy to have you on the show, man. I'm really excited to get you on a solo episode in the future, but today, man, you gotta make your force feel felt.
I'm ready.
Got some heavy hitters coming in. Jader, who's next?
Ooh, who do we got next? Order and appearance, and this is not due to anything else but me being fucking late. So we have our boy Chance Ellison, Chance the Cobra, joining. Where the fuck did he go? There he is. Boom. Seriously, where did he go?
Wait, hold on. There he is.
There he is. You're good now, Chance.
There we go.
You're good to go. You're free to speak, sir.
Good to be back. Good to be back. Hey, Robert. How you doing, bud?
Fancy meeting you here.
Oh, yeah. Been a long time since we've been in the ring together.
Feel free to do all the shit talking tonight.
I know. We're good to go, man.
And who's last, Jader? Who else we got here?
Last but certainly not fucking least. Not least in the fucking not least. Sorry.
You botched it. Craig's here, the barbarian.
The barbarian's in the fucking house.
What's up, everyone? Good.
How we doing, sir?
I'm doing great. I just realized you brought in you brought in Chance with the two people he beat back to back the tournament.
When I told Chance who was coming on, he was like, "I'm fucking there." I was like, "Holy shit!"
Gotta get Mike on. Have to go for 3 for 3.
Yeah, bring on
yeah.
Oyama too. See, there we go.
Get Paul or Mike.
So I'm not gonna lie to you. Oyama was invited, but he couldn't make it tonight.
Don't tell him.
Oyama was invited tonight. Yeah. He said he was gonna check out the episode. And he said if I'm out early, I'll try to join on or whatever. We might have a surprise guest that I'm working on still. He said that he wasn't gonna be able to draft, but that he was gonna maybe try to co-host the whole thing.
Oh boy.
So we'll see.
I don't even know who that is.
Kyle doesn't even know. So
Place your bets now.
We'll see how it is. We'll see how it goes.
Write it down.
But yeah, hey boys, welcome. I'm very excited to have you boys here.
Welcome to New Asgard.
There you go, man. There you go. So I honestly have been so excited for this episode. You can ask Chance. We had our first draft episode, I think 10 episodes ago now, right? If I'm not mistaken. So what we did, how this works, and our viewers that have seen the show before, excuse me. Basically how the draft episode works is we last time picked a year. All right. So we know obviously now we're gonna talk comic book films. But last time it was like, hey, 2014 films, go, and we just started drafting from then. It was a lot of fun. A lot of people were involved. So we had such a blast doing that episode that I'm like, we got to make this a recurring episode. So every 10th episode, we're going to try to do a draft and we're going to do something different every time. Since I mentioned it to Chance a while back, when I told him my idea, he was like, I'm so fucking down for this. Let's do this. Let's go. And then we were trying to have different people on. So I reached out to all of you guys because, again, the IG League, I know your love for comic book films. So I wanted to have like a real draft. I actually, if it was up to me, I'd have had 10 people draft right now and just pick the best comic book film as an actual NFL draft, But
that'd be competitive.
Exactly. And it'd be really hard and competitive. And, we're all competitive. That's what we are. Like by nature, we are. So yeah, man. I'm
ready to go. I mean, are you guys excited about this? I'm ready to start this draft.
He's telling me to shut the fuck up and just go right now.
I want to see Mel Kiper's big board. I'm ready.
Yeah,
man.
I just want to see Chance cry tonight. That's the main goal.
Ooh,
that's the goal. Make me sweat. Make me cry. Okay.
So
I see you, boy. I see you.
we've taken a step up from last time in picking the order. Last time I wrote numbers on a pieces of toilet paper and we picked randomly, and that was how the order was determined. This year, we had it pre-randomized, and you're about to find out the draft order for the first time. All of you guys here on the show are about to find out for the first time.
I don't even know what draft number I am, so this is great.
I thought you were going to say it's napkins instead of toilet paper.
We really upgraded this time. So the number one overall pick goes to the Barbarian Craig Gayner. He has in this draft. Yes.
Okay.
I kind of wish I would have gone a little bit later because I'm now going to have to wait to get my second pick. But it's okay. I know what I'm going to do with my first pick. But
is it Tank Girl?
Obviously, Spawn.
You don't know.
Spawn, of course.
Number cards close to the vest.
Picking second overall is going to be my co-host Jader Paramo, the Hurricane. Jader, you are going second in this year's draft, or this week's draft, whatever we're calling it. At the third spot, Robert Parker coming in. He's gone. There he is.
Hey.
Robert Parker is at number 3.
We're good.
Number 4, we're going to have the Cobra Chance Ellison.
Okay.
Come in at number 4.
So you decided to go fifth, so you can go back to back. I get it. Back
in the bus, Rosa. I get
it. No, I'm good. I'm just fucking with you, man.
No, so that's how it's going to go. For you guys who are unaware, this is how it's going to go. It's a movie draft. So what we're going to be doing is picking from comic book films. There's going to be at least 5 rounds, maybe more, depending on how long this goes. Jader and I have some iPhones to sell tomorrow. So we're going to see. But 5 rounds, it's a snake draft. So the person picks last in round 1, picks first in round 2, and we go back and forth all the way through. Otherwise, is there any other questions we have before we get started from anybody on the panel?
Nah, let's get it.
Yeah.
The movie draft is live. Mr. Barbarian Craig Gayner, you are first up. What is the number 1 pick in the draft?
So my number 1 pick is, for me, I think not only my favorite comic book movie, but I put it as a tie for my favorite movie of all time at this point. And that would be, and I feel like it's going to be a little bit surprised because I feel like this wouldn't be most people's number 1s. But for me, my number 1 is Avengers Infinity War.
I knew it was going that way, bro. I knew it. What do you mean a surprise, bro? I know that's your favorite.
No, I didn't say it's a surprise. I'm just saying that I feel like I'm an outlier putting that as the best because I feel like a lot of people would put Endgame ahead of it, or I won't say what other one, so would go ahead of it. But for me, it's like this movie as just a single movie was the most impactful, I think, of any films in the MCU. And I think it's a masterpiece, and I think I love it. Should we do a shot? We didn't do a shot yet. Also, wait. I'd like to point out that Robert had somebody apparently smuggle him some alcohol.
I did. Sure. Look, Kaiser's got some methods that I'm not willing to. I'll tell you guys off camera, but legally, I can't. Signed an NDA. I can't do this on stream.
I've heard his methods. Yeah, but this is an off-camera discussion.
Fair. All right, to a wonderful draft, everyone. Cheers.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. All right.
So Jader,
Craig at number 1.
Infinity War goes off the board immediately, but a surprise to people. But as Steve was saying in the draft or in the comments, Jader, it's probably the exact thing you wanted to happen because we
already know where this is going. If you've been a fan of this show, we know where this is going.
This is easy.
So
go ahead.
You know what? I don't care. We're gonna let Kyle decide. I mean, not decide. We're gonna let Kyle say my number 1 round draft pick. 5, 4, 3.
It's the Dark Knight. We get it.
It is the Dark Knight. Absolutely. I'm sorry, guys. Again, but I don't know how you guys feel about this film because we haven't actually really talked about this film. All of us individually, but for me, this is the greatest comic book film ever made.
Well, I clearly disagree with you, but
I again, and so do a lot of people, but again,
I love this film also. Though I peg this as a no-brainer first-round pick. So
Yeah.
This is the definition of a first round pick.
It's the obvious pick, but it truthfully is my favorite film of all time till this day. It was Goodfellas for a long time, and I've said this over and over and over on this show. Goodfellas had that reign for a very long time until I saw The Dark Knight in theater. Just everything about it. Comic book films, I feel, were always, and again, I don't know how far back each and every one of us go, like when it comes to comic book films, but comic book films back in the day, at least, or anything comic book wise, was considered like nerdy, or like why are you watching films like this or what have you, I felt like The Dark Knight was what changed everything. At least when it got to that, again, like it feels like a kind of gangster genre-ish film. I feel like The Dark Knight is kind of like the Godfather of comic book films, because you get your Spider-Mans and everybody's like, oh man, this is cool. And even before Spider-Man, you had your X-Men's and all that. And you're like, oh man, that was pretty cool. So it started getting more like accepted. But The Dark Knight didn't matter who it was, who you were, or what, or anything. You didn't even have to see Batman Begins to go see The Dark Knight. When you see The Dark Knight, you're like, holy shit, like this is a great film overall. And again, we don't really talk Nolan in this show, and it's not because I hate Nolan. It's because my co-host hates Nolan, so we don't really talk. That's very true.
I don't like Interstellar either, so you're good.
No, and I get it. I feel like lately his films have been. I haven't seen Tenet yet, so I can't speak on that one. But on a decline compared to his first films. But The Dark Knight for me was just on another level. Acting wise, suspenseful, and the rewatchability on that film. I feel it doesn't matter what time of day, if it's on, 9 times out of 10, I feel like any one of you would just sit down and watch that film. And if you haven't seen it in a while and just sit down and watch it again, it's one of those like, holy shit, this movie's great. So again, it's a personal thing for me. I love this film. This is coming from somebody that really, really hated the idea of Heath Ledger becoming the Joker, we all did. To having him like on my leg type shit. Like I have a Batman Heath Ledger tattoo. So
if you had drafted that instead of Infinity War, that would have been hilarious.
I wish I would have known he had the tattoo.
I know. I'm so glad you did.
A troll pick.
I'm so glad you did it. But again, going from that to tattooing the man on my leg, that's how much this film means to me. Like it is a part of me for life. I acknowledge before everybody fucking starts shitting on me that the Goodfellas is the better film, but the way that movie just blew my mind the first time I saw it in theater, opening night, and this wasn't like 6 p.m. showing. It was like a midnight release when they were doing midnight releases. Sitting down in that theater and just getting sapped, like just grabbing me. That very beginning with that heist scene alone, that heist, like imagine that heist scene, everyone will be like, oh, when they're mentioning heist films, it's like, is The Dark Knight considered? Because that beginning scene is so powerful. I didn't get to see the IMAX premiere because I know they had like a little premiere before. I forgot what movie came out prior to The Dark Knight. But some people were like, oh yeah, they show which one? I Am Legend?
I think so.
Well, there you go. It was I Am Legend in IMAX because I saw it regular. All I got was the trailer.
Steve in the chat is saying we should play you off.
I'm trying to find a nice.
Craig the Orchestra.
We could have made 3 other picks by that time.
We could have.
It could have been your turn.
Anyway.
Jader,
Dark Knight, that is my choice. I fucking love this movie. I can do 3 episodes on this shit. There you go. Oh, so my comment didn't go because I cussed. So I wrote "fuck off, Steve." So there you go.
I see him there twice.
Mr. Parker, you are up on the clock next. What is your pick?
All right, so I think obviously it'd be silly for either of those first two to not be two of the first three to go. I'm going for what I think is the proper third, and it is another MCU film outside of Infinity War. I think it's probably the best MCU film, and it's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Damn it!
This is not where I thought you were gonna go.
This is so great.
I respect it though. It's not what I thought, but I respect it.
That is Kyle's favorite comic book film.
Yeah, I think Guardians of the Galaxy is maybe the most accessible comic book movie of all time. Even more than The Dark Knight, even more than the early Avengers stuff, even more than the first Iron Man. I think it's the most accessible. It blends everything about sci-fi and superheroes that you love. It's got the best humor of the MCU, probably. It has some of the best, most like earnest and heartfelt moments. You know, who doesn't tear up at "We Are Groot"? The villain is actually good. He gets shit on because people look for holes to poke in every little thing that people love. But like Lee Payson Ronan is actually really fun. Like he's just this super stoic, serious figure, and then he just gets turned into a joke. Like it's actually well done in my opinion. The team aspect, you know, you get the prison break. There's just so many things that make you love this movie. The dynamic between Peter and Yondu, it's everything about Guardians is fantastic. I saw it 8 times in the theater. This movie is brilliant.
Why haven't we had you on sooner? Like that's
a good question.
One thing I was saying, I don't know if we don't need to weigh in on other things, but the one thing I'll say about this specific one and why I love this as a pick, it's like this was a movie that when it was announced, everyone was like, huh? Like,
yeah,
they're like, Marvel's making a movie about a tree that says 3 words
absolutely.
and a talking raccoon. And
from the guy who said from the guy who made Super and Slither, like what?
Yeah.
Wait,
what?
Exactly. We can't get Black Panther, but we're getting this? Fuck off.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, but then it's such like the MCU would not be what it is without the success of this, and that's fantastic.
Absolutely, I agree because it made them like want to take chances on filmmakers.
Yeah, it also expanded like the universe. Like obviously, this is already in the second phase, but like you know, we went cosmic, and that's obviously really important to the MCU like narrative further down the line.
Yeah,
I hate you. You took my movie.
All right.
You get 2 picks before any of us. So.
Oh my God.
No. When you said Guardians, it made me the happiest person ever because I knew that was his first round pick.
I'll admit, Robert, as long as I know you, this is not where I thought you were going to go first. I thought you were going to go somewhere else, which you might get to, but we'll see.
Sorry, the Hobbit in the comic book movie. What can I say?
Look at that. Steve didn't want to go to the screening of Guardians. It was across the street, and for me, and it said that he ended up loving it. I feel like everyone that saw Guardians for the first time was just so mind blown by everything.
Yeah,
I remember my roommate was the one that kind of put me down on Guardians, and he's like, "Dude, you got to read this shit. This is dope, and this is probably going to be one of the best MCU films of all time." So he gave me the it was like a big graphic novel of Guardians, like comics or whatever, jammed into one. I started reading it, and I'm like, "Holy shit, bro!" And we went to go see that movie opening night, and I loved how many people that didn't think we're gonna love that movie loved that movie. That's what I loved about it, and it was the same year as Winter Soldier, which was. Again, like, yeah.
Like 3 months later. This was August. That was May. Like back to back.
I think Winter Soldier was like April.
No, it was August. Yeah. Well, April was Winter Soldier. August,
oh, you're right.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks for ripping my heart out, Robert, because you took my whole.
Good job, Robert. I'm proud of you.
Chance, it's up to you now, man. What is your 4th pick the 4th overall pick in this draft?
Look, I hate to be so MCU heavy in the first round, but I'm sorry. They put out some good shit. And, Craig took the setup, so I'm going to take the punchline. And I'm going with Avengers Endgame.
Ooh.
This is, I think, the closest we've gotten to a superhero epic. Like, again, people have tried. Well, one guy has tried a couple times. And it hasn't worked. Maybe we'll get to that later. But this is like the best attempt at a superhero epic. It's just the scale of it. I think is fantastic. I think that the Russos do something they demonstrate they can do really well is just balance a huge like roster of characters, like give them each screen, give them each arcs, and make them like feel really powerful. And
the hell's going on?
my phone rang.
Okay.
It's the classic chance
on my
Wi-Fi.
end.
This isn't Wi-Fi. This is my phone ringing thing.
Oh.
So
I just assumed Kyle was just so mad.
I
that he did this.
I can't even single fucking preach. I think I appreciate the fact that this is they take a lot of time to like show what these characters are dealing with. It's not like a big like beat 'em up movie. It's more like a we messed up. We let half the universe die 5 years ago. Where do we go? Where are we at? We got people who have like let themselves go. People who are like having a mass PTSD. One guy who's going and murdering Yakuzas because why not? And yeah, I think that the time travel is very interesting in this movie, and that third act is maybe the most gratifying thing I've ever seen in the theater. Just like when that portal sequence starts, from the start of that to like the rest of the film, it's just like that alone was worth the price of admission. Like I will fully admit that. I think that it was an incredible sequence. The score is fantastic, great direction, great performances all around. I love Endgame. And yeah, I'm happy to have this as my first round pick.
No, I love everything you said, and I love the whole time traveling thing. The only thing I hate about this fucking movie is two things. A, they shit on Back to the Future, and I won't stand for that.
Come on.
Look. Time travel is done in different ways in different films, and just anyway, continue.
No, it's that and Professor Hulk kind of bothered me. I kind of wanted a Thanos versus Hulk again. That's it. Those are my only two complaints. I absolutely love this film.
Yeah,
I gave this film like almost a perfect rating, so we're good. I got a 4.5 out of 5.
These are confusing times.
Yeah, it was interesting. You talk about Professor, not to say sidetrack us too much, but like reading about like what was supposed to happen. Apparently, originally Professor Hulk appears in Infinity War. Like that was the end of Hulk and Banner's arc in Infinity War, but the test audiences were so confused by it that they took it out.
That would have been a little much.
I mean, it would have been a little much, but it would have actually like had an end to his arc in Infinity War. He didn't have an arc in Infinity War.
I agree. He had no arc in Infinity War whatsoever. Yeah. Again, I saw it yesterday. I was like,
Yeah, everybody keeps shitting on the number one pick of this draft. I think that's a good idea. Let's keep doing that.
No. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying he was talking about Professor Hulk. I'm just saying that's the one thing. That's my one thing is like if they would have done Professor Hulk, I think it would have made it good.
You know what would have been better? What would have made Endgame better? If they didn't cut Reginald Vell Johnson. Bring him back.
Wait.
Go get him for another movie.
Wait, Reginald Vell Johnson was in it?
If you went to like the re-release, like with the deleted scene with Hulk saving the people from the building, the firefighter he reports to is Reginald Vell Johnson.
Oh my god, I did not know that.
Yeah,
I gotta watch that scene. It's amazing.
All right, I get back-to-back picks here, and this episode is not going how I expected. Oh god,
I'm sorry. Did you think you were the only one that liked fucking Cardi?
Yeah,
I thought that was my movie.
Oh, sorry.
that was chalked in. All right, I had to make
put flagged out. Mine.
No. Okay, so yeah, I had to make a couple adjustments. My number 2 overall pick is the one that's going to be my first round pick, and that's another Marvel movie, and that is Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, damn.
Ragnarok.
I'm surprised.
This movie is amazing. This movie is so much fun. It has so much rewatchability to the point where, I mean, just bringing Taika Waititi into Marvel and having him fix what was really getting to be a boring character in Thor. Like, he clearly wasn't as entertaining as he didn't fully get unlocked until Taika Waititi took him over. And to me, Thor Ragnarok has easily become one of the most accessible, watchable, funny, entertaining movies out there. And the fact that it comes right before your number 1 pick, Craig, which is the darkest of the Marvel movies, is really something special. That how they're able to blend those tones pretty great. I love Thor versus Hulk. I love Thor just, getting to a Korg in there too. Korg is one of the best Marvel characters we've ever had.
So good.
So I could watch this movie over and over again. And that's why, to me, like, if I have to go and rewatch comic book movies, this is definitely one of my favorite ones up there. It's the one I'm going to turn to top 5 at least. So Thor Ragnarok is my pick.
Can I say briefly? Again,
Yeah.
I don't plan to like chime in on everyone's pick, but
No, absolutely.
So Thor Ragnarok exists in part because of our fellow Schmodown competitor Kevin Smith, because Kevin Smith had talked about on a podcast that Thor was a boring character and no one liked Thor, and Chris Hemsworth listened to Kevin Smith's podcast and he brought that to Kevin Feige's attention. He's like, no one likes Thor. Thor's boring. What do we do about this? And that's when they went and got Taika Waititi, and they changed the character to be more comedic. And they did this, Taika Waititi made Thor Ragnarok, which to me is probably my number 3 MCU film, behind of course, the 2 that were already drafted. Well, 2 of the 3 that were already drafted this round. I put it ahead of Guardians of the Galaxy, barely, but I do put Ragnarok ahead of Guardians. I'm just saying, right?
I'm messing with you, man.
Yeah, no. It's a hard call, but Taika is one of my favorite filmmakers today, and I've seen all 6 of his films, and each one is better than the last. And Thor Ragnarok is just fantastic. Anyway, that's
So I get back-to-back picks here, and I think Jader is probably not going to have any idea where I'm going here.
No, I know where you're going.
No, I don't think you do. I'm going to go for one that seems to be held in regard as like perfect in most people's eyes. It's not an MCU film. It's the first non-MCU film since The Dark Knight that we've had, and that is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, I had a feeling you were going here.
I thought I might have been able to take that in my second round. Wow, all right.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a good pick.
That's a great pick.
It's funny because I don't think I go back to it to watch it as much. I just know people love it so much, and it's gonna help me get votes this time. So I'm ready to win this.
The game theory right there.
Fucking cheater.
In all honesty, this movie is so much fun, and it really if you brought in Miles Morales as this character that was just begging to get introduced and won these movies eventually. And people just fell in love with this story. It's so innovative. It's so creative with how they make the animation happen.
Mm-hmm.
Lord and Miller producing this and putting their stamp on it was really something special. I think this movie is regarded by most people as the best Spider-Man movie and one of the best comic book movies ever made. So to me, this was a no-brainer. I had to take it. And Spider-Verse is our 6th overall pick, second pick, our first pick in round 2. Now we go back to Chance here. Mr.
Right.
Ellison, what is pick number 7, our second pick in round number 2?
So the MCU. No, I'm kidding. For my next pick, I gotta go this one. This is a movie that, for a lot of people, was the end of this franchise. It should have been, but they kept making movies. But it's just such a gratifying way to send off a character, and that is 2017's Logan.
First off, that should have been a first-round pick. The fact that was a first-round pick,
I thought that was going to be a first-round pick. I'm so happy. I'm so happy that it went to round 2.
I won't give you my other answers, but I'm so scared to show you the other ones, but it's there. It's number 2.
But yeah,
not anymore. It's not.
Not anymore.
No shit.
It's on my team. Just
fuck
for Hugh Jackman to be like, okay, do one more. I got one more Wolverine in me. What can I do to make it special? Okay, you got to make it like an R-rated, gritty, like Western-esque film that very much mirrors the first X-Men movie when you look at the plot. Really, he's excellent in the film. Patrick Stewart's excellent in the film. Daphne Keane, who barely fucking talks, is really
doesn't
good
talk
in the movie.
like literally barely talks.
Yeah,
incredible.
It's just such like a powerful ending to a character like this, because this is like barely the only character that could have worked, because not many actors have this kind of permanence with the character. We've been playing this Wolverine Logan for almost 20 years, and for him to come off and just like send him off into a rated R, like bloody, blaze of glory, but also be like very, emotional and very provocative. I think it was an incredible direction for the go to. I think Mangold did a great job with the movie, and yeah, I think this is absolutely. This should be a first round pick. If there were 10 of us, it'd be a first round pick. But y'all slept on it, and now I got it on my team.
I mean, I didn't sleep on it. I had the number
No,
one pick.
it was on my radar, dude.
Like if someone else had gone first and picked Infinity War, this was my number 2 pick. So
Well, there we go.
If you hadn't have picked it here, I was going to take it next.
I was not going to take it.
what we're all saying is that Kyle, you're an idiot.
Thank you.
I mean, but if Kyle took this, and I was really scared Kyle's going to take Logan and Spider-Verse. Like, oh, fuck, what do I do now? But if whichever one he didn't take, I was going to take the other. So if he didn't get Spider-Verse, I was going to get it.
And that leads us to Robert Parker. What is your second round pick?
I think this is in my opinion, this is a little bit low of a second round pick. It's weird that again, if we had more people, I think it would have been taken earlier. It's Batman Begins.
I thought you were going to do this round one. I thought you were going to do this round one.
No, I like Guardians a little. Guardians, they're very different movies, so they flip flop a lot for me. But they're like probably two of my top 3 comic book movies of all time. I think Batman Begins is a perfect setup to a character. It competes with Dark Knight for me on most days. You don't see him in the suit for the first hour of the movie, and that's perfect. It is the exact right choice that needed to be made for this character in this time to reboot this trilogy after Batman and Robin, or to reboot this character, really. You have just some iconic scenes, like the fight at the docks. You have Bruce going into Falcone's bar, which is one of my favorite scenes in all comic book movies, and it's one of the most underrated scenes ever. All the stuff with the League and Ra's al Ghul, and it is just a really, really underrated movie. I think at this point, because The Dark Knight came after it, the conversation has lulled a lot about Batman Begins, but I think this movie is like properly incredible. All the stuff with Bruce pretending to be drunk at his house when his house burns down, the relationship between him and Alfred that they start building, the relationship between him and Lucius that they start building. This is just a perfect showcase of how an origin story should be told. I think it's the best origin movie of any comic book movie. Batman Begins, like I said, if there were more people, it would have been probably late first round, early second, but I'm more than happy to take it in this spot.
Now, Robert, I got a question for you. What's the point of all those push-ups? You can't even let the bloody log.
Bloody log, yeah. Now, you think your mommy and daddy got shot. You've seen the dark side of life, but you haven't.
I love that guy.
Like a dog. Oh, that's
no gun.
Movie is
I'm insulted.
No God, I'm insulted. Yeah, good stuff. Does it come in black? Just everything. I love this movie.
So Batman Begins goes off the board. Jader, are you taking The Dark Knight Rises? And you have 1 minute this time.
Absolutely not. I'm thinking about that Dark Knight Rises. And fuck you for my minute. All right, so as my number 2 round pick of the fucking draft, we are going with Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Ooh,
all right,
interesting.
So for me, this is, and again, it's going to be argued in this panel or whatever. It's my favorite MCU film of all time. It has gotten top. Guardians, which happened to come out just a couple months after, did this with it. Like, it was so close, but I'm a sucker for spy films. I'm a sucker for action films. It was just a combination of everything. And for me, this is the epitome, which is crazy because I go back-to-back sequels, right? This is the epitome of what going full throttle and going full, just everything, right? When it comes to a film, like the first, I feel like the first Avenger is a very underrated film.
Agreed.
I feel like it gets a lot of hate for no reason, but there's no argument, at least for me, that the sequel was 100 times better, right? So the Winter Soldier for me had it all. I had action. I know Kyle another one of my favorite films that he just fucking likes to shit on.
No, let's slow down. All right, you're making me look bad in front of the guest.
That's back to back.
These are 2 picks that most comic book movie fans would say are 2 of the best. Like the 2 you did, The Dark Knight and The Winter Soldier. Like lots of people put Winter Soldier as their number 1 MCU film. So there's no shame in this. Yeah.
So no, I'm just saying.
I'd be surprised if this wasn't picked by the end of the second round.
Yeah.
Right.
So Winter Soldier for me, it just had everything for it. Again, action. just character development. Chris Hemsworth. Listen to me. I'm talking about fucking Thor. Fucking Chris Evans just crushes it. Scarlett Johansson. Fucking Robert Redford fucking crushes shit, man.
Yeah.
Like everything about this film and the highway chase scene and the fight between them, just everything about it just amps me up. And I wanted to see more Bucky. We got to see a little bit of him more on future films and all that. But just the elevator scene, just little things here and there was just like holy shit. And I've said this a million times over on this show. If you're not a comic book fan, you can sit down and watch this film and be like, holy shit, that just a great action film. Right? See,
1 minute.
My homegirl over here, she's cleaning over here, and she doesn't watch comic book films, but she's seen Winter Soldier, and she's like, "Fuck yeah!"
America,
So
fuck
yeah, that's my number 2, man.
All right.
On to you, sir.
Yeah,
Is off the board.
I'll talk more about Winter Soldier
Prepared.
real quick, just because not to be that guy, but years ago I used to work in talent for talent representation, and one of our clients at the agency I worked for was a man named Maximiliano Hernandez, who plays Agent
Really?
That's
crazy.
Yeah, no, so yeah, exactly. No, so and I'm still I talk to him every now and again, but to see him get his role expanded so much in Winter Soldier, I really enjoyed. Yeah. And it was funny because when that movie happened, I texted him, I was like, "Hey, great job. Sorry to see you go." And his response was, "Well, you know what they say about Marvel films, or not Marvel films. You know what they say about Marvel? No one's ever really dead." And then lo and behold, Endgame.
Lo and behold.
Yeah, he's in Endgame.
Lo and behold, Endgame. Here he comes back again. I was like, he told me this when Winter Soldier came out that he was still going to do more movies. So,
great job, Gabe. Don't have a truck.
Exactly. I love Maximiliano Hernandez and his Jasper Sitwell's found in a number of just films and TV shows for this, and he's a great person and a great actor and a great character. So for my 2 picks, I'm left in a little bit of a conundrum because I've got there are 3 movies that I want to use these 2 picks on, and so I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with my gut. So the first one I'm gonna say may come as a surprise to some people because this movie cost me a match. My love of this film cost me a match, but it's the second best X-Men film behind Logan, and that would be X-Men Days of Future Past. This movie not only brought in the amazing cast from the original franchise and combined it with the amazing cast of the reboot franchise, and just told a fun story across multiple timelines. And sorry, I'm just trying not to say things about my wounds from my loss.
It cuts too deep.
It cuts very deep. It's still raw. I'm still raw. But this 2014 film that was a sequel and prequel, but not a midquel to the 2006 film X-Men: The Last Stand.
It was indeed not a midquel.
It was indeed not a midquel, which I didn't realize until I discussed it with PJ and rewatched the end scenes and realized that they did age up Wolverine, even though they didn't age up a single other character. They aged up the one character that never ages, so it was clearly in the future. At any rate, sorry. Getting back to what I was saying, this film not only was an entertaining film in and of itself, but it righted the wrongs and erased from history quite possibly the worst X-Men film, which was X-Men: The Last Stand. And it was like, so I enjoyed the film while I was watching it, and then when it ended with, by the way, X-Men: The Last Stand never happened now, I was like, oh my god, brilliant. Oh my god, so brilliant. Anyway, that's why I put X-Men Days of Future Past as my second pick. And with my number 3 pick, I'm surprised that this film is going to the 3rd round, and I feel like I almost should owe a debt of should almost owe an apology for putting it in the 3rd round instead of the 2nd round with Days of Future Past, but I prefer Days of Future Past.
That's talking about Winter
Yeah,
Soldier.
no, that elevator scene was great in Winter Soldier. But I'm
I
gonna go
love
with
the elevator sequence. Days Future Past. I know what you're talking about.
Exactly. I mean, they do go in an elevator to get down to Magneto.
That's true.
And, yeah. So, at any rate,
I hear you can control metal. Sorry.
My mom knew a guy who could do that.
Yeah. So, I got to go with this movie was a cultural phenomenon, and everyone's. You know what? You could have used your second round pick on it, Jader. You didn't. Okay.
I want to see what you're saying. I want to see what you're saying.
Yeah,
what other films the cultural phenomenon? Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. I love you.
Really?
Black Panther.
Wow.
Fucking A, bro.
You motherfucker.
Well,
Whitey took this movie from me. Okay, all right. I see you play.
You know what? You had a second round pick. You use it on Logan. I'll trade you Black Panther for Logan.
I thought he was going Captain Marvel.
No way.
No
As soon as he
dude.
just said cultural icon, Blade Trinity came to mind, but that's
Really threw us for a loop there.
Brothers, I'm sorry. I tried. I wanted to get it, but I'm sorry, brothers.
No.
You
shouldn't have waited till the third round. Black Panther, I mean, the film itself, like as a movie, is a fantastic film and one of the best films in the MCU. And then when you add on to it, its cultural significance of being the, and again, it wasn't the first black superhero because we got, it's not the first black Marvel superhero. We got Blade.
Yes. Tell me about tell me about black superheroes.
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the public. Okay.
He said,
Again, you're mad at me for
Thank you, Kyle.
Like what? You wanted me to like shit on the movie instead? Come on, Chance. You should have taken you had 2 picks already, Chance. You had 2 picks already.
I'm being impressed.
At any rate, point is, fantastic film, and on top of being a fantastic film, multiple record-breaking film on a box office level, and it was just a cultural phenomenon, and it was just so shattering to hear that Chadwick Boseman fell victim to this horrific disease that we call cancer, and that he kept us all in the dark about it for I don't know what reasons, but the fact that he just like kept living in his life and being strong in the public eye, God bless that man. And rest in peace, my friend. I just watched 21 Bridges the other day. If no one's seen it, please watch it. It's a fantastic film.
It's pretty fun, yeah.
Produced by the Russo brothers and starring Chadwick Boseman, and also has fellow MCU actor, spoiler alert, J.K. Simmons.
Wait, J.K. Simmons. Oh yeah.
Spoiler alert, J.K. Simmons.
Spoilers.
At any rate, yes. But back to this Black Panther. So I mean, I could say more, but Chance would yell at me for talking about it, so I'm just going to leave it there and Jader for the next pick.
Remember, real quick.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Rob.
Remember when, like, 2 months after this movie came out, they realized they killed Black Panther in Infinity War, not thinking that Black Panther was going to make, like, $1 billion.
And then they brought him back.
Well, they also, like, gave him, like 6 lines total.
Yeah, they were like, oh, shit, that was actually...
Well, that was a hit? That
was a hit. Oh, yeah.
The movie made how much? Oh, shit. Whoops. Sorry.
Actually, I've got to say a little bit before I see that. Now that we've talked more about it, it's like the supporting cast of this film is phenomenal.
Yeah,
like
best MCU villain of all time.
Yeah, best of it, and now that Chadwick, look, I don't like talking about the what do we do now, in terms of like the human element, because the human element is so much more important. But if we go into this is about fantasy and just like a little bit of escaping reality right now. And so if we look at what's going to happen for this franchise from here, it's like we've got 2 major options, which are, in terms of replacing Black Panther, it's like either A, the main ones that I've heard, and I think everyone knows, like, we replace him with Shuri, who's fantastic, or we replace him with Killmonger, which they can do because this is going to come out after Multiverse of Madness, and as we've with all the news coming out about the Spider-Man film.
Absolutely,
that's not a bad idea.
No. That's exactly what I thought was going to happen, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah.
With the whole multiverse thing, I figured that we're going to bring back Killmonger in some sort of way, because as much as I would love Shuri to take the mantle, it's too soon, in my opinion.
And not only that, but like, Shuri's a strong character as she is.
Yeah. Evidently in the comic book, she does become the Black Panther.
Well, I mean, it would be logical in terms of like the order of succession, sure.
But I just feel like in movie universe wise, I feel like it's too soon.
And more Michael B. Jordan is never a bad thing.
Of course not. Of course not. I agree. I agreed. Speaking of that, I would.
Fan Force your next pick.
That's what I thought. That's where I thought he was going.
Where?
Fan Force
Fan Force is your next pick.
Absolutely not.
You said speaking of which, Michael B. Jordan.
Speaking of which, no, I was just going back to him.
Michael B. Jordan.
He's directing Creed 3, and I thought that was phenomenal. I'm super hyped about that.
Jader, what is it? What do we got here?
All right, man. So we've all gone. So Craig's gone Infinity War, Days of Futures Past, and Black Panther, which is Marvel. I've gone Dark Knight and Winter Soldier, DC and Marvel. Robert has gone Guardians and Batman Begins. He switched it up. Same thing. Chance has gone both Marvels, and you went both Marvels. So I'm just gonna try to think outside the box. This might hurt me. Whatever.
Can I say, Jader? I don't see comic companies. I just see movies. Okay.
Okay, I agree, and I don't think my next pick is a bad pick. I don't think it's a bad pick. You know where? Who said that? Oh, I heard someone say I know where he's going. My bad.
I think it was Kyle.
Go for it.
Okay, where am I going, Kyle?
I think I know. Scott Pilgrim.
No, absolutely not. No. Great pick though. Great pick though. I'm actually gonna go Kick-Ass with my number 3, man.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. I think you're not that.
Not where I would have won. No, that was a good. I like that movie.
I'm just trying to think outside the box a little bit. Just talking something that's a little bit different. Kick-Ass really surprised me the first time I saw it. It was another film that I saw, not knowing anything about it, not knowing it was comic book related and whatnot. But I feel like this movie, I actually bought it today, actually in 4K, still holds up. It's one of those films that it doesn't matter how many times you see it, how many times you're watching it. It's really is. It's just a kick-ass film, man. It does its job. You feel for the characters. There's great character development in it. And I feel like in real world, like, it's something that could happen, if we were to dress up in, wanting to save the town or what have you, And I love the first time that he goes out in the kick-ass suit, he gets his fucking ass kicked. Not only kicked, like almost died, I feel like Aaron Taylor Johnson, everyone in this film is on another level. It's one of, in my opinion, like, top tier Nicolas Cage. I love his character in this movie.
Yeah.
So that's my pick. Might hurt me at the end of the draft, but I just wanted to talk a little bit different film or whatever. So
can I just say real quick, Jader? Because you mentioned you got Kick-Ass on 4K. Nobody likes a bragger, okay, Jader? Nobody likes a bragger.
Just for you, bro.
Robert Parker, I see the Marvel shirt has come out. Is that where you're going with your third round?
I've had it on the whole time. I just took the jacket off, the sweatshirt off, the hoodie. It was a little too warm. I am going to go with another Marvel. After this, I might be done with Marvel. We'll see. But I think this is the last great Marvel non-MCU. Well, maybe not. Forget the last 10 seconds. This is
edit that out.
Yeah, edit that out.
More great non-MCU.
There are plenty of great non-MCU Marvel movies left. This is, I think, the best of the ones that is left. It is one of the movies that got me into loving movies, and that's Spider-Man 2.
Nice.
This movie came out at a perfect time for me. I don't think I saw it in theaters. I think I was just a little bit too young.
You were 3, right?
I was actually in the womb still when this movie came out.
I hate your guts. Just
I was no. I was 6 when this movie came out, but I don't think I saw it in theaters. But this Spider-Man 2 and the first Spider-Man, the first 2 Raimi movies, I've watched thousands of times because they were I get that a lot. They were like the first. If comic book movies sort of you see them as mythology, like they were my entrance into this world. I had them on DVD and VHS, and I watched them with my sister incessantly. I love the first Spider-Man, but the first one hasn't aged as well as this one has. Alfred Molina still maybe top 3 or 4 comic book villains of all time as Doc Ock. I love Tobey Maguire's both Spider-Man and Peter Parker. I know people crap on him now, but I think I genuinely like him a lot in this role. You get a great dynamic between him and Aunt May. I love everything about this movie. It is everything that superhero movies are supposed to be. It is the whimsy, the fun, the weight of the emotional weight of the decisions that they make. You feel it when he gives up being Spider-Man. And then, Doc Ock's sacrifice shows you that redemption is possible for anybody. Like the themes of this movie are just incredible. So even though I know a lot of people these days kind of think a little bit less of these earlier Marvel movies, I had to have it on my list for my own personal reasons.
I'll also say this, of the Raimi Spider-Man films, this is the most Sam Raimi's of the Spider-Man films.
Oh yeah, that whole time
the scene with John Landis as the Doctor is just pure horror.
That's basically Evil Dead with Spider-Man.
So Chance, that brings us back to you, man. Your third round pick. Where are you going with this?
Look, my Marvel check has not been cashed yet, so I can do whatever I want. So with my next one, Whitey took my movie, so I gotta go somewhere else. Let's see. I'm gonna go with a DC movie. This is my favorite. My favorite one's already been taken. Jader took that in his first pick, The Dark Knight. But my second favorite is still on the board. And it's one people kind of either like really sleep on or like hardcore love. There's like no in between. And I'm going with 1993's Batman: Mask of the Phantasm.
Oh shit!
So
I was getting ready to applause, but then you said the wrong movie. So
yeah,
I was not gonna say forever. I wasn't gonna say forever.
No, God no.
No. That's not what I thought either. But I will not shit on this pick. I actually love this movie. Yeah. So good shit.
So Batman the Animated Series is my favorite incarnation of Batman of all time. I think that when I think Batman, that's what comes to my head. I love the imagery. I love the vocal performances. I'm a big animation and voice guy. And I think that the idea of bringing this to a larger medium, I mean, it's very publicized. This was done very late. Like the decision to put this in theaters was like a super last minute one, so it did horribly. But when you watch it, like this movie is actually like really great. It's really mature for a movie that's intended for children. It's a great mystery. I think that the artwork translates beautifully to a larger format, and I think it does something that very few Batman movies do, and it dives deeper into the psyche of Bruce Wayne and Batman better than I think any Batman movie I've ever seen. Like the part where he's like, like diving into like his relationship, like what would he be without Batman? Like what drove him? It's a weird way. It's kind of like an origin story, which I do like. I love so much about Batman: Mask of the Phantasm. So yes, happy to have that as my third round pick.
I mean, with your statement of this is the one that delves most into Batman and Bruce Wayne, clearly indicates that you've never seen Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice.
I have. I saw all 3 goddamn hours. It make a bit of goddamn sense.
I kid, of course.
This has gone wonderfully. Ever since I lost Guardians of the Galaxy, you guys have just let me walk into my picks. I mean,
I already know that. I pretty sure I know your next.
Yeah, Chance. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like you could have gotten this at 5.
Maybe, probably, but you could have got Spider-Man 2 at 5, probably. Or 4.
Also, I'm not really worried about what Kyle's gonna say because he's just gonna pick some random nonsense.
No, that's next round.
Smell the mask.
So,
RIP is pretty good, guys.
My next movie does not involve a mask. No, it's going to be. I'm going to cover some bases here. Wonder Woman's my next pick.
Okay.
I'm taking the first true important female-led comic book film that we've had.
Excuse you, Tank Girl.
Girl,
Thank you.
no shame.
Kyle has no idea who the fuck Tank Girl is. First
Stop
of all.
it.
Supergirl was before that.
Barbed wire.
Wonder Woman. We could all basically agree that this was the movie that really saved DC, at least for the time being. Before Justice League came out,
They started digging again.
it's just, we're gonna get out of the hole, then jump right back in.
Right back.
Wonder Woman. This movie is so good, and like, it's more about how important this film is. How it really showed that female-led action movies can be successful, can work, and it opened the door for so many more to come. Like, look what we've gotten recently. We've had Captain Marvel come out. We've had Birds of Prey come out. We were supposed to get Black Widow this year, and there's more stuff that's on its way. But none of those films would have been possible without the success of Wonder Woman. For Patty Jenkins to take this big swing, for Zack Snyder to cast Gal Gadot, and a model who hasn't really done too much, and
all of us shit on her because we were all thinking about what she did with Fast and Furious.
And
by all of us, I mean me.
I thought she was great because of what she did with Fast and Furious. All right, so take all of us out of your mouth, my friend.
I mean, I'll admit, Jader, I was there too.
Yeah, man. You know, it happens, man. It happens.
Not appreciate the Fast and Furious films as well. You should.
Oh no! Don't get me wrong. I love the Fast and Furious films, but she was like whatever, like compared to. Like, if you're gonna tell me that she honestly, what you've seen in Fast 4, 5, and 6, that she was gonna be the next Wonder Woman, I was gonna be like, come on, dude.
She's great in 6.
She really jumped off that Honda Civic.
Yeah, she did great in that, right?
But I'm just saying, what she did in those films when they announced her as Wonder Woman, said, "All right, let's do this." I was on board right away. Anyway, Kyle, you have the floor.
Go ahead, sir.
As host of the show, Kyle, you have the floor.
The Jader and Kyle show. So Wonder Woman, I mean, it really is. It's so culturally significant, and I'm so glad that you guys let it fall to me in the third round. So now we're gonna take a turn. I went from a comedy to an animated film to a DC action film, and now I'm gonna go R-rated, and I'm gonna take Deadpool.
Fuck you, bro. That was
That's a good one.
I was gonna take Deadpool. I mean, you guys just let me have all of these. There's like 4 or 5 movies I was choosing from, so thank you very much for this. Deadpool, another movie that is beloved by, I feel like, a lot of people. Like, this movie is not just loved by comic book fans, but also just general movie going fans. Like, I know so many people out there who don't like comic book movies but love this film because it's making fun of comic book films, also celebrating them in the same way. Ryan Reynolds is pushing to play this character for such a long time after he did back in X-Men Origins Wolverine. Everyone hated that film. They hated what he did in it, and he hated what he did in that film to the point where now it's been retroactively erased out of history, which is what the X-Men films like to do, by Ryan Reynolds himself. So I think this movie is so much fun every single time you go back to it. It's so funny and inventive, and I'm so glad that you guys let me take this one. Thank you so much for this pick, guys.
That's fine. I wasn't gonna take it anyway.
That's fine.
Yeah, you say that after.
No.
Honestly, that was not my cue.
It was my next pick, but I have a backup, so
I know what you're doing, Jader. I'll call yours in a sec if it doesn't get to you. Chance, what is your 4th round pick?
So I do like what we're saying right now. You know, I want to have a little bit more varied list. I got 3 very, comparatively dark, grounded, more serious films. I want to get something a little more light, a little more fun on my list. Which is why I'm going with the best DCEU movie up to date. I'm going with Shazam.
Get the
okay.
How ironic.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know that I disagree with that being the best DCU film.
I don't disagree with that. I disagree with it being in the top 25 comic book movies.
I think it's interesting that Chance just lost to a team with his name.
That's true.
Oh, nice.
That's a little while. I gotta get some. Yeah. Basically, but when I heard this movie, I'm just like, okay, really, a franchise that can't get Superman rights is gonna try characters basically to rip off Superman. I'm like, no, fuck off, no. But then I saw it and was like, okay, yeah, this is great. I think that Zachary Levi was a great casting for Shazam. I think he's like super likable, super charming, he's super funny. And I do like the core of family on this film. I know I'm not saying this is one of the top 25 best. I'm just saying I want to get the team a little more varied, and I'm gonna get some oddball picks later that no one's gonna pick because I'm weird like that. But yeah, I do think that Shazam. I think Shazam is great. I think that I think it's very watchable. I think it in a weird way can go from like super fun to like incredibly horrifying, and it works in that way. Still, I think Sandberg did a great job with it, and yeah, Shazam, my number 4 pick.
Shazam it is. I'm surprised. That's actually your list is very interesting so far, Chance, because I feel like you could have gotten a couple of your picks later, but you know it's rounding into something really really special, and I can't wait to see how it ends.
You have no idea what I'm gonna do later.
Mr. Parker, we move to you. What is your 4th round pick?
Black Widow. Oh, well,
Yes.
this is Cena. So this is tough. I have 3 movies that I want to get in the next 2 spots, and I really do think I can get both of them in either round, or all 3 of them in any of the next 2 rounds. So it's about which 2 I want to pick. For my number 4, I'm gonna leave the Marvel DC realm, and I'm gonna go with what is my opinion the best graphic novel based movie, Snowpiercer.
Nice. Ooh, wow. Nice.
That was on my list.
I like that.
So that's my number 4 is Snowpiercer. I love this movie a lot. This is obviously Bong Joon-ho, best director for Parasite. This is one of his couple years before Parasite, obviously. This was 2013, 14, somewhere in there, depending on which release date you look at. And this is just a really sort of gritty, down-to-earth tale. It's obviously, traveling through a train, the last surviving humans on Earth. And there's just incredible performances at the center of this movie. The story is just so gripping, but the performances by the side characters, even like John Hurt and Jamie Bell and Ed Harris, Octavia Spencer, right, all the way through like Tilda Swinton and Chris Evans, the leads, and Song Kang-ho, like the performances in this movie are incredible. The story is just so tightly woven that it is thrilling every single time you watch it. The action is really dynamically filmed. There's a scene where they go into a tunnel, and it's all like night vision and just torches and just incredibly filmed action. And at the heart of it is still this story of this like post-apocalyptic world. And it's a great movie about sort of class structure and all that kind of stuff. I love Snowpiercer a lot. So that's my number 4.
It's a good pick. It's a good pick.
It's a good pick. That was one that was on my queue.
I wouldn't have picked it in my next 2 picks, but it was a good pick. I like them.
Yeah, it needs representation. Damn it, we need to talk about Snowpiercer.
Goddamn right, bro. I love that you mentioned it, Parker. I love that you mentioned it.
So Jader, that brings us to you, and I thought I knew what your pick was going to be, but now I'm not too sure.
No, sir.
I'm surprised you're not doing this yet. Okay.
No,
all right.
No. Not yet. I feel like I can pick that up a little bit later. All right, so I'm gonna go back. I love that everybody has ventured off a little bit off the MCU and DCU for the most part. So I'm gonna venture back in because again, it's what comics is all about, right?
It's so weird that we've gone off the DCEU and haven't just picked all DCEU films, guys.
How strange is it that we haven't picked every single film in the DCEU?
There you go.
Right?
So
where's the love for Suicide Squad?
I'm going back to the MCU right now, right? And I'm going to go with the one that started it all. So my next pick is Iron Man.
Nice.
So Iron Man 2008 for me, it's
Iron Man 3?
It is. Fuck you, Iron Man 3. That's what I think about that. Fuck you. But honestly, this is a no-brainer. I am kind of surprised that I didn't go a little bit earlier. I get it. Other films have come out afterwards. Man, it's just it honestly gives me, and it's crazy because I'm a big hip hop fan, and Jay-Z in a Kanye West song says, Dark Knight feeling, and he should just start rapping about it because again, I feel like everybody the first time they saw the Dark Knight, they just got this feeling where you're like, holy shit, this is what I'm watching. But Dark Knight comes out, July 18th, and just 2 months before on May 2nd. You get Iron Man, Iron Man, when I saw it for the first time, I didn't think it was ever going to get topped, to be completely honest with you, because I was so mind blown by that fucking movie, how great it was. Because as good as the trailers looked, you never thought that it was going to take off the way that it did. And this goes kind of back and forth with what Winter Soldier does. I don't care if you're a comic book fan or not. If you sit down and watch the first Iron Man movie, comic book fan or not, you're going to enjoy the shit out of that. It's just, yeah, so many interesting characters. It wasn't a boring film. It obviously deals with, everything with the whole terrorism at the time. And I get that because it was different from the comics compared to what we actually got on screen. But you're watching that movie, you're watching him like this, again, philanthropist, playboy, billionaire, basically sell weapons to the enemy. And then you have to see him kind of like, set back and be like, holy shit, like I'm doing everything wrong. And, just do everything, just step, keep his like pacing on the right way or what have you. And I just feel like Tony Stark, for the most part, is the most lovable character in the MCU, which wasn't the case with the comic books. So when you think MCU, you automatically think, holy shit, Robert Downey Jr. MC, and he is the epitome of what that character is, in my opinion. Again, thank you guys for giving me that at number 4.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
I thought that was, a pretty good pick.
So, Mr. Barbarian, you get 2 picks in a row here. Guys, how do we feel about 6 rounds before we keep going?
6 would be great. I think 6 would be better than 5. Yeah.
What about 7?
I can go 7. I can go 7.
You want to do 7?
I can go 7.
Okay. All right. So let's step on it a little bit then. Mr. Barbarian, is this where we see
pick it up a little bit and do 7.
All right. So I'll say this real quick, Jader. You just made my next pick easier because I was thinking like, am I really going to do back-to-back MCU picks in the rounds 4 and 5? But you took Iron Man, which means that I only have one obvious MCU pick here. So I've got to go with the movie that, like Iron Man started it all, but the movie that really showed what the MCU could be and would be is the first Avengers. There we go.
That's true.
Nice. Gallegos here. Yeah. So Marvel.
Andres.
Yep. The Avengers. What's up, Andres Gallegos? The Avengers. This was a movie that when they did the first Iron Man, and then they ended it with like in the post credit scene of Samuel L. Jackson, teasing the Avengers, and then that later that same year you have the Incredible Hulk with Tony Stark confirming that these are connected films, and this is the result of those that connected universe. This is the first truly, the movie that really truly connected all these films together. And it's I've rewatched it several times since it came out, and it's just a fantastic film. Number 5, for my 5th pick, I will finally step out beyond Marvel and DC. And it's funny because I didn't think this was going to be my first non-Marvel, non-DC film to put on the list. But I found myself, as you guys were making your picks, thinking to myself, oh, I hope they don't say this movie. Oh, I hope they don't say this movie. So I'm going to say the movie that in my heart of hearts I was saying, I hope they don't say this movie, which is, in my mind, the best non-Marvel, non-DC film. And, probably you guys haven't been saying it because it came out before half of you were born.
Oh, no.
If you say the fucking movie that I'm going to pick next, I'm going to get so pissed, dude. No.
Steal.
So,
is it the Kaka?
I think it's Kaka.
No, it's not that one. It's not that one.
Oh, okay.
It's not Birds of Prey?
It's better than that one.
That's not what I was thinking.
If anyone watched the Inner Geekdom show this week, you'll know where I'm going. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. TURTLE Power.
Really?
The first Ninja Turtles film isn't just a great comic book movie. It isn't just a great Ninja Turtles film. It is a great movie.
Yep.
Like it works on every level.
I agree, sir. I agree.
Terrific cast. that Jader's laughing. I'm sorry, Jader, but this is a terrific film.
I absolutely.
No, sorry, not
laughing.
Jader. Sorry, Jader. I'm sorry. I thought I heard you laughing, Jader.
That was
Chance,
no.
Chance
That was
is
me.
laughing.
I
Chance is
absolutely. This
laughing.
was literally the first film that I got to see in theater by choice.
No,
So it wasn't the first movie that I saw in theater because my mom used to pick movies for me, and it was like Lethal Weapon 3 that I saw first. But the first movie that I told my mom, like, hey, I want to go see this in the movie theater, it was 1990's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And let me tell you, I didn't see that movie for a long time, right? And right before the Michael Bay films came out, or Michael Bay produced films came out, I revisited this film. Still holds up. Still the strongest one. I absolutely love this film. So I love this choice.
Thank you. And if I could continue, so one person that a lot of people don't, I'm sure you guys all know because you study for this, but we had a young Sam Rockwell as like one of the main Foot Clan members.
Foot Clans, man, hell yeah!
Oh man, Elias Koteas is Casey Jones.
I think Skeet Ulrich is running around there somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. It's the only Ninja Turtles film that treats it seriously, and it's like, in doing so, it's just Chance. I'm just surprised you disagree with me.
No, I don't disagree. I just find it just hearing it funny.
I do disagree.
Ninja Turtles, seriously.
Parker. Oh my God, Parker disagrees. Jesus,
I really don't like this movie.
We're
here to discuss every pick. We're here to draft, but I really don't like.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I just I don't know who typed this in here, but it's not Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Who did that? Jader, what did you do?
Hey, shit, bro.
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. There's a tonnage of them.
Fix it, Kyle.
Jader, what is your next pick?
At any rate, fantastic film. Anyone that disagrees with me can fuck off. I can't. Anyway,
I kind of want to keep talking about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so we're gonna keep this on a little bit longer than usual. Shit, bro. My next movie. Fuck, I didn't think you were gonna go that route, so I'm hoping that I can pick this up on my next round. So I'm not gonna take it right now. Oh, that was taken. Shit. I'm kind of scared right now. We are. All right. So.
Well, you did put tonnage, so I mean.
Yes. Yeah, Jader, you're 0 for 2 so far.
You want to know? Actually, you know what? I did lie on this show less than 5 minutes ago. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was not the first film I saw in theater by my choice. It's the following film, and it's Batman 1989. And that is my next pick. Okay, so Batman 89 was basically where my love grew for Batman. I loved him as a character because I knew him as an action figure and nothing more. I remember I did not pick to go see Batman 1989 in the theater. My mom just took me. So I guess I didn't lie because Ninja Turtles was the first film that I was like, I want to see that. But she did take me to go see this movie in the theater, and I was just so mind blown by it. As a kid, I remember a lot of people telling me, a lot of my friends at least telling me how scared they were of the Joker at the time. But I don't know what it was about that character that I thought he was, I thought he was funny as hell. The only part in this movie that I can tell you that really scared me was when he, gives him the hand and he shakes and he has the electric buzzer on him and he like turns him into a skeleton. Pretty much the only part that scared the shit out of me as a kid, to be completely honest with you. But this is honestly one of my favorite films, one of my favorite Batman films. Not my favorite. It's actually it's in the, I want to say top 3, maybe. But I absolutely love this. I think it's great, and that's my next pick. Sorry, guys. I'm like tapping out.
We go on to Robert Parker next. What is your next pick for the 5th round?
I'll go very quick. Jader picked the wrong Vaughn-directed non-Marvel or DC movie. It's Kingsman.
You bastard.
It's Kingsman: The Secret Service.
Hey!
Well, no, you mean I picked the wrong one. Yeah.
You both
No,
did. Everybody,
yeah.
everybody who, well, yeah. Jader picked Kick-Ass. I went with Kingsman because
so
I think Kingsman is a better movie. I think he
Oh, you said
took
Vaughn
what
directed. Sorry, my bad.
Vaughn directed. Yeah, I think
Matthew Vaughn, yeah.
he took what he learned in Kick-Ass and went on to make the better movie in Kingsman. I love Kick-Ass. I like Kick-Ass a lot. But Kingsman, I think, is just a more a better filled out world. It just feels more fleshed out as a story. Obviously, all the performances are fantastic. The action is dynamic, right? The church scene, who doesn't forget that? Or the bar scene in the beginning. Like these are iconic action scenes of comic book movies, and the humor holds up. Mark Strong is incredible. Colin Firth, Taron Egerton, all of them. Sophie Cookson, like the entire cast is fantastic. Even the villain stuff by Samuel L. Jackson, I still really love. Like it's ridiculous, but it's fun.
Yeah.
Like it's just so much fun. You just have a shit-eating grin on your face the entire time while watching this movie. It's like the antithesis of the traditional spy movies. I love the first Kingsman.
You know, it's interesting because I feel like people have really forgotten about that movie, and it's truly such a fun experience getting to watch it. I know Vaughn's got some questionable things that he throws into his films, but as far as pure entertainment value, I love the Kingsman movie. So I think that's a great pick, Robert. Move on to you, Chance.
Yeah, well, if I can chime in briefly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Originally, that was going to be my first non-Marvel, non-DC film, but when people were saying movies, I was scared that someone was going to say TMNT, so I had to grab it. But originally, Kingsman was going to be.
Craig, no sane person would say TMNT. We all have our heads on straight.
You're calling several people in the chat. You're calling Ethan Irwin insane here. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
Ethan's in the chat. Ethan's watching. Hey.
No, Ethan's not in the chat, but I'm just saying. Ethan
in spirit, he is with us.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Andres in the chat's agreeing with me, but yeah.
Yeah. No. Wait. Is he agreeing with you? Hold on.
Andres in the chat. Yeah.
Okay.
He couldn't agree with me more, actually. So there you go.
There you go.
Right. So for my next pick, I don't think Kyle's gonna take this one, but I want this one really badly, and I'd be crushed if Kyle got instead of me. I'm going with, I want to keep in the realm of R-rated. I want to go with my favorites, non-Marvel, non-DC.
I know where he's going.
Grab now base. I'm going with 2005 Sin City.
Sin City.
I grew up loving the comic work of Frank Miller. I think before he went nuts, he was awesome. And I think this is the purest translation you can get from a Frank Miller property to the screen. Just the way Robert Rodriguez was able to do this on a shoestring budget, because Robert Rodriguez famously works really cheap. Sin City. Yeah, I do. I think that the casting is great. Bruce Willis is great. Bruce Willis is awesome. Mickey Rourke is fantastic as Marv. I love Clive Owen as Dwight. It's a fantastic ensemble, really underrated one. And I think, it's big. It's stylized to the fucking T. I love the use of color in this film. I think Sin City is I think Sin City is just a flat out just kick-ass film, and I'm happy to have it on my list.
Can I ask a brief follow-up question?
Yes.
Will your 6th round pick be the
300? Oh, the Spirit?
No,
Spirit. God, the octopus, best of all time.
All right, so it's funny because as we play this draft, as we go along, you start to get this list of films, and you hope no one takes them, and one by one they start to fall out. But eventually, it gets back to you, and you're like, "Oh, I have an assortment of picks of something like everything that I was looking for is still there." So Jader's gonna know my next pick here. I'm actually gonna just swipe this right from him, right in front of him, right now. Just to spite you. I'm gonna take this movie, and that is Joker.
Fuck you!
I am taking Joker. I mean, it's truly incredible what this film was able to accomplish. An R-rated film, the first one to reach $1 billion, and Joaquin Phoenix took the character that Heath Ledger had made so iconic and did it in a completely different way to make him iconic again in another different path. So it's hard to watch. There's got a lot of questionable things in there, but it's also a movie that's very significant that a lot of people love, and it was a big phenomenon when it came out. So Joker is my next pick. I'm really rounding out my roster here. You guys got me excited now. Oh boy. So that leads me to. I never thought I was going to get to this point.
Fucking out.
I have an animated film on my list already, but I feel like I need another one in there. And
If you pick what I'm gonna fucking pick, you fucking piece of shit. I hate you guys.
Because it has to be the one that I'm thinking. So
It is.
Oh, you mother!
No.
Wait,
The
what?
Incredibles.
That's not based on a comic book. Not based on a comic book. Throw it out.
Based on a comic.
Throw it out.
Not a comic book.
No comics.
Throw it out. Not
It's an
based on a
original
comic.
story.
Pick redacted.
All right, good.
Oh boy.
So glad.
You can have Lego back then if you want.
Not based on a comic book. This is about
That's
comic
true.
book based
You're,
movies.
you're right. You're right.
You can say Ghost World. You can say A History of Violence. You can't say The Incredibles.
I
Well,
screwed up the draft. All right, I got a backup pick, and that's okay. Just to make sure I have it spelled right. I do.
For the record, Incredibles is a brilliant movie. It's just not based on a comic
Great
book.
movie.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It wouldn't have gone to number 25.
Correct.
I'm going
Probably not. Probably not.
V for Vendetta is going to be my pick instead.
That's a good pick.
This is like, I mean, we all have those graphic novels on our list. I feel like that's kind of rounding about. One of them is probably going to come up a little later. V for Vendetta. How timely of a movie would it be if it came out this year? I mean,
Yeah, no, I saw it fucking 4 days ago or last week or whatever the fuck.
I mean, it's like it feels like it should have been made. It was made for this year. V for Vendetta about uprising against the government, where the government controls everything. How we just feed this propaganda to ourselves every single day. It's truly something that's hard to watch nowadays, but also very mesmerizing. Something that's it's going to draw you in every single time. If you haven't seen V for Vendetta, guys, please go out and see this in the theaters. I know a lot of people still haven't seen this, which is shocking to me. So,
Do you say go out and see it in the theaters?
if you can see it in theaters and it's still playing somewhere, go see it. If you can find it.
It's
The
very
political, the political stuff of this movie is very intriguing. Like
Yeah,
it's
sure.
a very interesting movie.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with V for Vendetta here.
That's
I'm
good
actually I'm glad we got this. I wish I could have gotten The Incredibles, but fine. It breaks the rules.
I'm so sorry, Kyle.
You guys were
for
quick on that.
the, for the first round of the NFL drafts, the Los Angeles Rams take LeBron James.
That's right.
No, we can't do that.
The Los Angeles Rams take Peyton Manning. It's like, no, he can't be drafted. He's not eligible to be drafted.
Leon Sandcastle.
Yeah.
Who you got, Chance?
Okay, so for my next pick, I'm kind of gonna mess with Robert Parker on this one because there's one I thought he would have taken for sure by now. Surprised he hasn't. It might be the most underrated comic film of all time, and it's like really great. I'm going. 2008 was a great year for comic book films. We got the Dark Knights, we got Iron Man, and we got Hellboy 2: The Golden Army.
Ooh,
I thought it was going.
Love that movie, but take it.
yeah.
I think that when you look at the first Hellboy, the first Hellboy's really good, but you kind of feel like the reins on Del Toro.
Yeah.
This next one, let's make a movie. he just went fucking nuts with this film in the best way possible. The creature design's fantastic. I think the plot's captivating. Ron Perlman continues to own the role of Hellboy. Like, that's why he is the definitive version of this character on screen. And that's because no one saw the David Harbour film for good reason, because it was bad.
I saw it. It was just pretty bad.
I like it. Anyway, continue.
I like that Doug Jones finally got to show off his acting chops because I think Doug Jones is wildly talented. He's great as Abe Sapien. I like the inclusion of Clouds played by Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah.
It's just like an incredibly Del Toro film, and it just happens to be a superhero movie based on a great comic book. I think that he does everything you can possibly do with this property in this one. And it sucks we'll never get to see the third one of these, but gotta make Hellboy 2019.
Absolutely.
Just to hop in real quick, I love fantasy storytelling, and this is a perfect fantasy movie. It's a perfect superhero movie. I love this movie a lot. So I wasn't going to pick it, but I'm so glad that I got brought up. So thank you, Chance.
You're welcome. I'm surprised you weren't going to pick it. I know you like this movie a lot.
I do like this movie a lot. There's other movies I like more, though, including my number 6. We're going back into the MCU. Well, we're going for Civil War, guys. How has this not been brought up yet? I think this is the best Avengers movie that's not an Avengers movie. Captain America: Civil War perfectly bridges the two sides between Cap and Iron Man. this movie in its promotional, like you had, you were tweeting out Team Cap or Team Tony or Team Iron Man, right? Like that doesn't happen, right? This was just a massive event, tentpole movie. Obviously, the action is incredible, both the opening scene and at the airport, and just everything about this movie. The ending fight between Cap and Bucky versus Tony, that 2-on-1 is fantastic. I think Daniel Bruhl is really underrated in this movie. I think Zemo is a really underrated villain.
Yes, I'm so with
I
you.
really, really like the stuff that's going on with the Zemo dynamic in this movie. Obviously, I love Bucky. I love Cap as my favorite Avenger. So everything going on with their story is really captivating. Honestly, I really like the WandaVision stuff. I just think this is the perfect transition movie that had to come out after Ultron, but before Infinity War, and it's done just incredibly. The action and the story both. I really, really like Civil War.
I hate dumping on the MCU. I'll say this. I won't disagree with anything you said about it. The action is fantastic. The acting is fantastic. But the actual story is nonsense. And so that's why for me it just kind of like falls short. But
No,
it's
he
like
picked Civil War,
it
not
has.
Winter Soldier. It's different. The Winter Soldier story doesn't make
No,
sense.
the Winter Soldier.
Shut
story
up,
makes
Kyle.
sense. Explain Zemo's plot to me again and how he knew it was going to work. All right,
In Soviet Russia, we use real.
Yeah, but that being said, like I agree with every single point Robert made about the movie. It's just that for me, the plot didn't make enough sense, and
it makes as much sense as Joker's plan from the Dark Knight.
Dark Knight, yeah.
Well, at any rate,
that's fair. That's a fair critique, though.
It's fair.
Fair. And by the way, like Vision may be my favorite Avenger, so I love the WandaVision stuff in this too. And I'm excited for that WandaVision TV show. Anyway, I will shut up now.
You're good. You're coming up very soon.
You're good.
In your way, we have Jader. Jader, with your second to last pick here. I think I know where you're going. I have it queued up, but what's your pick here?
Oh, but you don't, sir. But you don't.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. It's so tough because I have 3 movies that I really, really, really love, and I only have 2 more fucking picks. I don't think they're gonna take the next movie that I want to talk about. But I am going to go with another Marvel movie. Surprise, surprise.
Wow.
I'm gonna go with X2, X-Men United.
Nice.
Okay.
You keep making my picks easier by taking one of the films I'm debating on taking.
Yeah, man. So X2, X-Men United is going to be my next pick. I feel like that was the very, very first ensemble film that we had done great. Ryan Singer and the whole crew brought it with that film. The opening scene with Nightcrawler for me is one of the best opening scenes in any comic book movie, at least for its time. I'm not going to talk too much about this film. Just we got to see, as much as I've been wanting to see Logan go berserker mode, which we didn't get into way further in the fucking movie. In the what have you in the franchise.
Use your words.
No. Yeah.
But that scene, I love the scene with him and Iceman at first. The whole Coke scene, and then Coca-Cola scene, guys. Coca-Cola scene. But then all of a sudden you see him just fucking go in on the soldiers and all that. Seeing that Wolverine for coming off of X1 versus X2, it's something that I think all comic book fans wanted to see for such a long time. Again, great ensemble, great action in the movie. Loved everything they did with it, and so X2 is my pick.
X2 going off the board in round 6. All right, Mr. Barbarian, you've got your last 2 picks back to back here. You got to make them count. What is your second to last pick?
Don't worry. First off, again, I want to thank Jader so much because I had 3 movies. I didn't know which 2 I was going to go with. So you did me the favor of taking one of the 3 off the board.
You guys want to go 8 rounds?
No.
But so it's funny because all 3 of the movies I was thinking of were the second in the franchise, and I'm so excited that the other 2 are still here. And right now I'm going to go with a film that I'm shocked it's still on the board because you guys have all said so many Batman films, yet you haven't said the best Batman film other than The Dark Knight.
Can I say it for you? Can I say it for you, sir? Because it was gonna be my next pick.
Yep.
Batman Returns.
Batman Returns.
Fuck yeah, dude.
I think Batman Returns of the two Burton Batman films, this is the superior film, in my opinion. It's funny because it's like as much as everyone remembers the iconic performances of Danny DeVito and Michelle Pfeiffer, what everyone forgets is the iconic, the should have been iconic villain of Christopher Walken, Mac Shrek. And this was an early, this was before Christopher Walken was like Christopher Walken.
What do you do dressed up as Batman?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but
that a penguin?
He is Batman. Yeah, and it has so many great lines in it. The mistletoe is deadly if you eat it. A kiss could be even deadlier.
Life's a bitch. Life's a bitch now. So
life's a bitch.
Yeah, to me it's my second favorite Batman film behind The Dark Knight, of course. It's just so much fun and fantastic. Terrific cast, terrific performances, terrific action. And with that, as we approach our seventh and final round, I think we have to toast the end of the draft as we toasted the beginning. So let me pour myself a shot before I give I feel like my last pick is going to be a bit of a hot take.
Oh boy,
it's going to be a hot take for sure. Now
I'm going to catch more crap for this than I did for going with Ninja Turtles in the fifth round, but I do not regret that pick.
Is it Steel? Please say it's Steel.
Yeah. Even though technically I probably, now that looking back, I probably could have gone and taken Kingsman there and got Ninja Turtles in the round following, but you know what?
Absolutely you could have.
But here's the thing. Had I missed out on Ninja Turtles, had I made the gamble and missed out on Ninja Turtles, I would have felt horrible. Whereas missing out on Kingsman, I was like, okay, I'm fine with that. So before we begin the seventh round, gentlemen, this has been a fantastic evening of fun and talking about some of our favorite topics.
Yeah, it's been great.
It's been fun. It's been really fun.
The four of you are cool, even Kyle. And cheers. And who knows? Maybe I'll be on affection with some of you sometime in the future. At any rate,
there you go.
At any rate, not to do a tease, but
Son of the Mask at number 7, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, my number 7 it's another sequel, and it's a sequel that I actually prefer to the original, and that will be Deadpool 2.
Ooh.
Wow.
I prefer Deadpool 2 to the original Deadpool. The original Deadpool, as amazing as it was, is something of a simplistic story, whereas Deadpool 2 expands the universe, it expands the storytelling, it's got a great theme, terrific performances across the board, this was one of my favorite films of 2018, and I'm so excited to be able to take it with my final pick of the draft.
That's a hot. That's a hot take.
That is
I said it would be a hot take, but
that's a kicker if I've ever seen one.
That take is spicy.
Deadpool.
All right.
Chimichanga.
So, saying that, I have two movies actually, that is gonna break my heart not putting on this draft. But I'm not gonna go with that. I'm gonna go with the less obvious, and that's where the whole caca shit came from.
Oh yes, finally.
All right, so I'm gonna go with my 7th round pick. I'm gonna go with The Crow, actually. All right,
nice.
The Crow is gonna be my last pick of the draft. I had other films that I wanted to talk about. I'm surprised that I picked up, to be completely honest with you. But
There's still
this movie. I feel like with me, this movie is a fucking masterpiece. Overshadowed by tragedy, obviously, because of everything that happened with Brandon Lee. but it's one of these films again as how do I say this? Like I guess as fake or as not realistic or whatever as it is. Like if any of you had any chance to come back or were be in Eric Draven's position, would you do the same thing? And I feel like absolutely you fucking would. Like you'd get revenge. Oh fucking I love Andres for fucking putting this right now. Bang, fuck, I'm dead. Straight quote from the movie. But I grew up watching this movie. My uncle introduced me to this film, and again, it was one of those movies. He's like, "Hey, you got to check this out. It's really awesome." Told me the tragedy of what happened, but I became so obsessed with it. I would see this movie at least once every night to go to sleep. I would just watch The Crow over and over and over and over again, and it's a movie that I hold dear in my heart. And I know a lot of people don't. I don't know. I to this day, for me at least, when I show it to friends and like that haven't seen this movie, I feel like it still holds up, at least for me. I don't know how you guys feel about this film. But overall, again, like I know there's a lot of overacting in the film, but overall the premise, what is the main premise of the film, I hold dear, man, because if anything were to happen to me that happened in this film, and like I honestly would take it personal too, you know.
Any film with Michael Wincott as the villain has my vote. Cheers.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. He's fucking fantastic. I love him. Him as top dollar is top notch for me, man. So yeah.
So Jader closes out his draft with The Crow in the 7th round. Robert Parker, your last pick of this draft. Make it count. What is it?
I'm so glad I waited because this was something I considered taking at 3, but I didn't think anybody else was going to take it. So I'm glad I waited and got some other stuff on first. I have only one DC movie on my list.
I knew it was.
It's going to stay that way because I'm a Marvel whore. My number 7 pick is the best film in the X-Men universe. It's X-Men First Class.
Okay.
Yeah, we can't not taking these super obvious ones around.
I will say this: not the best X-Men film, but I was going to feel really awful if we went through this draft and no one took First Class because it's a fantastic film.
I prefer First Class over Days of Future Past. I prefer First Class some days over Logan.
Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
Shit. Hold on, dude. You are getting muted right now, sir.
I so much. I think
you muted Robert? Oh, I thought you were going to mute me.
No,
I got muted.
You got muted.
I think the cast of First Class is incredible. I think the cast of the new series of films is better than the cast of the old series of films. Don't get me wrong, I love McKellen and Stewart, but I think as an ensemble, I'll take the new cast. The whole idea of the origin story of Charles and Xavier is brilliant. It's the first movie, really, and honestly, maybe the only movie that is titled an X-Men movie that feels like an X-Men movie and not like a Wolverine movie. Even Days of Future Past feels like a Wolverine movie.
I mean, it is a Wolverine movie.
It is.
It is. It's the first real X-Men movie, and that's. I love it so much. I love the idea of the whole rage versus serenity. Obviously, the scene in the bar in Argentina is maybe the best comic book movie scenes of all time.
Absolutely.
It made me want just an entire spin-off of Eric Lenscher, Nazi Hunter.
Yeah. It's exactly like Andre said. It's the first true X-Men movie.
Well, we almost did get that with Magneto.
Yeah, I love the Shaw stuff. I love the dichotomy between Charles and Shaw with the coin. Just everything about this movie is excellent. People rag on January Jones and Emma Frost. I like it. I think it serves its purpose. It is there for what it's supposed to be there for. Even like the dumb nicknames, it's building this young team. This movie is incredible. I think this movie is incredibly overrated, and the score is brilliant.
I applaud that choice again. I'm so happy it got picked in the draft. I was sad when I thought it wasn't going to get picked. So thank you for picking it, Robert.
Chance, that brings us to your last pick. How are you going to close out this draft?
I'm going to close that in a weird way because I kind of forfeit on trying to win the vote. This list is for me now. So one of them contemplated is based on a comic strip. and it'd be a really weird inclusion for this list. But I think I'm going to go with my other one because it's more on brand for me. I'm going with a movie that I don't think any of you probably thought of, because this is one that's actually based on a manga, which is a Japanese comic book. And I'm going with
Akira?
another a super underrated film. I'm going with Live, Die, Repeat, Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. Everyone knows me knows I'm like a massive cruise guy.
Because we're living on the edge of tomorrow.
I'm standing on the edge of tomorrow today. So with this movie, I mean, how do I tell this to you? It's Groundhog's Day with aliens, guns, and Bill Paxton. It sells itself, but honestly, like the trailers were awful because they didn't sell the movie at all. Because actually, it's super fun, it's super inventive. Cruise is great. I think the back and forth with Emily Blunt is fantastic, and we've seen this plot done a lot. It's just a matter of what you do with it. I think that the design of the aliens is really cool. I think it put together some really cool action sequences. It's really rewatchable. I think that it gets Cruise out of his comfort zone because usually he is like a super badass guy. But here's one where he has to like learn to be that, and I like that character growth. I think he's great at it.
It's the best acting I think he's ever done, honestly.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. I would not say that. But he's really great in it, and yeah, I think that more people do need to talk about this movie. So I will gladly fall on this one. The other movie I was gonna throw up was the Peanuts film, but the Peanuts movie from 2015. So it was gonna be a weird one either way.
I thought you were going Garfield.
Maybe I was on my list.
Okay, so you guys put me in a tough spot. I was hoping someone would take one of the two films, or probably just one of the films that I was looking at, because now I have to decide between two. And
you're not allowed to name both of them. You can only name one.
I think I know where he's gonna go.
I think you know too, because you have to go.
This movie is called Mr. Irrelevant, by the way. So
it sure is, and I feel like that's its reputation. And that sucks because I love this movie so much.
Howard the Duck?
No, it was almost a movie that I brought up earlier, but I can't do that. I was hurt earlier in this draft in the first round. I gotta get my.
Oh no!
That's fair. That's a great pick. That's honestly a good pick.
I have to get.
Hold on, guys.
I'm really glad you take the draft, Kyle. I'm really glad you take the draft.
I'm muting him right now because what the fuck?
No, it's honestly a good pick. That's a good pick.
It's a good pick.
Well, there's so many other MCU films that are better than this one.
We took them all. We took them all.
No, Ant-Man, Spider-Man.
No, there's
Homecoming.
plenty of other films that we could have used. Yeah.
Go ahead, Kyle.
No. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is an excellent motion picture. Let me tell you.
I'm actually with Kyle on this.
I'm with Kyle.
Thank you, Mr. See, okay, so it's 3-2 right now. All right, so this is better than our Marvel episode, Jader, where you guys just shit on me for 10 minutes straight on Guardians 2. This movie's awesome. I don't know why people don't like this film. You make the characters take the next step forward in their natural progression. They came together in the first film, and now they're seeing what it's actually like to be a family in the second film. And it's tough being a family. You get in fights, right? I mean, you get in fights, you get separated, things happen, but you grow and you learn and you move on, and they get to experience joy and sadness, happiness and death. Yondu's death, honestly, before Endgame came out, was probably the most emotional, impactful death out of any Marvel film.
Agreed.
There weren't any others.
Quicksilver would like some words.
He did not take 7 bullets for you this kind of disrespect.
If he was that fast, why did he just move him out of the way?
He didn't learn that lesson from Evan Peters and Kick-Ass, okay? He didn't know.
I love this movie so much. I actually think the soundtrack might be better than the first film. And I love the first film. Jader, stop it. All right, so Jader and I, we need to have this discussion. Because have you gone back to watch it again, Jader?
Yeah, I saw it twice already.
Oh no.
Can I jump in here real quick? No,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
If you guys haven't figured it out by now,
Guardians 1 is light years better away from Guardians 2.
So Jader said I can talk, and then he starts talking. All right.
Go ahead, sir. I'm muting myself because I don't want to.
Really? Because I can still hear you. Anyway, no. I'll say that if you guys haven't figured it out by now, I do enjoy hearing the sound of my own voice. It's very soothing. But my point is, so Kyle, you said you don't know why people don't like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and I'll tell you. Now, first off, I enjoy it better upon rewatch, but upon my initial watching of this film, I spent most of the movie waiting for the plot to begin, and then I was like, "Oh wait, this is the plot." And it's like it just meandered. Oh, there goes Jader. Yeah, the plot is a little meandering, but yes, Yondu's death is amazing. The Mary Poppins y'all is amazing. His funeral is amazing, even though it was telegraphed from the beginning. It was what do they call it? It's like Chekhov's law of funerals. Like if somebody tells you at the beginning of a movie that you're going to have a bad funeral, then by the end of the film, your funeral will be on the screen.
Chekhov's law of funerals. I need to look that up.
This took a turn.
The real thing with Chekhov is like if you introduce a gun in Act 1, it's got to go off by Act 3, and so. Okay. Yeah, so when in Act 1 you say you're going to have an awful funeral, you're going to see the man's funeral by the end of the film. That being said, look, I don't hate the movie. I like the movie. In fact, I it's a really good movie. But initial viewing, I was down on it. Repeated viewings, once I knew what I was getting into, I've enjoyed it more. But like the structure of it was just so weird that you couldn't really feel like you were following a plot for most of it. But I can't argue with my only argument against it being included on this list is again that I think there are other MCU films that are better than it. Anyway, continue.
So my thing was, it came down to two movies for me, and I'm a massive Marvel fan. So, and I only had Thor Ragnarok as my MCU movie, so I had to throw in another one. I couldn't go with Scott Pilgrim, as Jader texted me. Scott Pilgrim versus the World did not make our movie draft, which is actually kind of shocking.
It's a great movie, and it continues.
I also love. I mean, this is the time where we started to go over ones that we didn't choose. As far as MCU goes, Spider-Man: Homecoming is a great film. I believe Ant-Man's a great film.
By the way, Spider-Man: Homecoming is my favorite Spider-Man film.
See, and honestly, I love Ant-Man. I love Ant-Man and the Wasp. I love Iron Man 3, and Jader and I will have this discussion all the time too.
I don't love Iron Man.
Honestly, if I had an 8, Age of Ultron would be my 8.
If I had an 8, I probably would be on Dredd.
Dredd.
You said, wait, did you say Dredd or Judge Dredd?
Dredd. No Judge.
Really? I prefer Judge Dredd to Dredd.
I have
Dredd had the feeling of those great 90s like event films, whereas Dredd was just kind of like a little droll. But that's just me. It didn't help that I watched them back to back.
I had the Mask or RoboCop coming up next. It was between one of those two.
I think the RoboCop comics came after though.
Yeah, the RoboCop is based on a comic.
Okay, so then I would have gotten
it's an IG film, not a comic book film. But it's
gotcha. So the Mask probably would have been my pick.
If RoboCop was based on a comic, that would have been like my number 2 pick, honestly.
Yeah.
Superman fans probably didn't like this episode.
No. Funny enough, I have Man of Steel written down.
Almost like there aren't good Superman movies.
Hey, Superman 78 is good.
The problem with Superman movies is the best Superman movie is the original one. So every film after the original one has not lived up to a film from the 1970s.
Yeah. Jader knows I'm a big fan of Birds of Prey. That's another one that if we would have gone a little bit later.
I love Birds of Prey too, if for no other reason. It's dear to my heart. It's the last superhero film that Sonia and I saw in theaters together. We went to a glitter punk screening of it at the Alamo Draft House in Los Angeles.
Even though we were
AMC like AMC A-list members who like we could see any movie we wanted through at AMC. We paid to see this at a glitter punk screening at it's And she fucking loved Harley Quinn. I've got pictures up on my Facebook of her dressed as Harley Quinn. And at any rate, I can't go a show without talking about Sonya because she is the best. At any rate,
absolutely.
I mean, and the film itself is. I think I don't understand people who don't like the movie Birds of Prey, because I think
the problem with the movie. Sorry, let me tell you why people don't like this movie that I like. No, but the problem with the movie is that it's like two movies in one. It's like it's Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of one Harley Quinn. You could have just made a Harley Quinn movie. You didn't need to make a Birds of Prey movie and a Harley Quinn movie, and they just put them all both together. And that like it's two different movies in once. That being said, it's still fun. It's still great. I enjoy it a ton. But I really wish we could have just had a straight. What was that noise? Was that me?
That was me. My apologies, guys.
All right. That being said, I wish we just had a straight Birds of Prey movie and a straight Harley Quinn movie, and that would be great. At any rate, so this was good too.
Just one other quick one I want to bring up that I feel like there's actually a couple more. Something like Big Hero 6 that could have been.
Yes, I thought about Big Hero 6. That is the first ever superhero film to win a Best Picture award. So, because everyone talked about that
animated feature.
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, like, it's the first time a superhero film won this. Like, no, Big Hero 6 won it in 2014. The other film, the films that I want to point out that nobody talked about, Red and Red 2. The Red films are fantastic.
Red 2 is not fantastic.
You know what?
No.
Red 2 is better than Red 1.
I put my thumbs up for Red 1.
I love both Red films.
I'm surprised you like Red 2 that much.
I'm with Craig.
Wow.
The Red films are fantastic. I also love Kingsman.
I don't know about fantastic.
Oh. Look, we're using different verbiage here. Okay,
they're good.
I also
and Punisher Warzone, the best Punisher film.
Punisher Warzone. Oh my God, by far the best Punisher film. If you haven't seen it, please watch it because. But when I started studying for IG, Look, I'm a huge nerd.
Craig just discovered Warzone like 2 months ago.
No, not 2 months ago. This is like 5 months ago, 6 months ago. No, exactly. It was like, look, I'm a huge comic book nerd, but I'd always skipped the bad ones, right? And so I just never had watched, so I never watched any of the bad ones. And while prepping for the IG tournament, I started watching all the movies I'd never seen before. And a lot of them was like, oh God, this is awful. Oh God, this is awful. But when I got to Punisher Warzone, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
I love that movie.
It was awesome.
One other one I want to throw out there before we wrap up here is one that other people would probably take, Watchmen. Watchmen didn't make Well, I think the TV series kind of took this one's thunder because the series is much better than this.
If I could draft a series, I'll take it. But
if we were drafting graphic novels, Watchmen would go high. If we were drafting TV series based on graphic novels, this would go high. But the movie it's
good.
Graphic novel, graphic novel, TV series, movie. I enjoy the movie, but it's not as highly regarded as the other. It's the least highly regarded film. The least regarded property in that franchise.
And nobody took Batman versus Superman, which
I was surprised
because it's almost like it's bad, like really bad.
Yeah, no, I was surprised that Man of Steel or Blade were not mentioned at all, man.
Oh,
the Blade,
shouts my homie Blade.
Yeah,
Blade 2. No, Blade. If we're talking about Blade 2, the Guillermo del Toro one.
Guillermo del Toro film is my favorite one as well.
Yep, that is my correct answer.
That's the correct answer. Blade 2.
Yeah,
but I do love Wesley Snipes' Blade, but not Blade Trinity.
And I will say, just in terms of movies that we haven't talked about, the first Spider-Man and the first X-Men, I actually still prefer the first Spider-Man over Spider-Man 2 because because we get more of the film about him as Spider-Man.
I agree. If I was gonna, I think Spider-Man 2 is the better movie. But if I was gonna put one on right now and grab a beer and some popcorn and watch a Spider-Man movie, it'd be the first Spider-Man. What
do you get a call Jake and watch it together?
Yeah, honestly.
The first X-Men film, I showed up in like a child-sized X-Men T-shirt at the movie theater opening night of that film, just because it was like the X-Men. The X-Men cartoon was my favorite thing of all time. I love the X-Men comics, and just like the fact that this was being turned, like when it because look, Blade was the beginning of the golden age of comics, but it was like it was like the canary in the coal mine, and because it didn't fail, they're like, all right, we'll greenlight the X-Men. And when X-Men came out in theaters, it was just glory for me.
Yeah, it was glorious. I remember watching Glorious. Listen to me. I remember watching the first X-Men in theater for opening weekend and getting my mind blown.
Yeah.
How great that movie was.
And Robert, I forget which movie you were talking about. You saw in theaters. You say 8 times. Which movie was that, Robert?
Oh, the first Guardians I saw in theaters 8 times.
Wow. So, see, I've never seen a film in theaters 8 times.
That's not even close to my max. I saw Age of Ultron 10 times. I saw Hobbit 3 14 times. That was when I worked in the theater.
Dude.
Yeah, I saw theaters 14 times.
I paid. So the most I've ever seen a film in theaters is 5 times, and that was X-Men, the original.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah.
No,
that was the era where I was working at the theater, so I got them for free.
If we're on the subject, I want to say Dark Knight, and it was tied actually with Spider-Man 2. I saw both of them 6 times in the theater.
Oh wow!
So those are it was Spider-Man 2 and it was Dark Knight, and I think the closest I've ever gotten after that has been Infinity War, and it was 4 times.
I think I saw Infinity War 4 times also. Yeah.
So real quick to recap the draft, I'm going to go over everyone's roster. Craig the Barbarian, you had the first overall pick. Your roster looks like this: Avengers Infinity War, X-Men Days of Future Past, Black Panther, the original Avengers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 1994, Batman Returns.
1990.
90.
That's exactly what I wrote. And Deadpool
2. Wait. You
it's so weird. Hearing Craig's draft, great. What?
What are you talking about? You know what? Look, here's the thing, Chance.
They're the youngins.
The problem is,
the youngins.
Chance and Robert weren't alive when this movie came out.
I watched the DVD all the time when I was a kid.
Oh, I didn't.
Y'all don't know. You didn't grow up with
You don't get it, man. You weren't there.
Y'all don't know. Jader and I know. We grew up with this.
Absolutely.
We move on to Jader, who had the number 2 pick in the draft, and he went The Dark Knight, Captain America, The Winter Soldier, Kick-Ass, Iron Man, Batman 1989, X2, and The Crow.
Oof, that is a strong draft pick right there.
Good roster.
Robert Parker had the 3rd overall pick. He took Guardians of the Galaxy, number 1.
Sorry, say it one more time. What was the number 1 draft pick, please?
No. All right. Guardians of the Galaxy, Batman Begins, Spider-Man 2, Snowpiercer, Kingsman: The Secret Service, Captain America: Civil War, and X-Men: First Class.
I think he won the vote because he got 2 steals at 6 and 7.
I like that list. I'm happy with that.
I'm happy with my list.
It's a good one, dude. It's a good one.
I really want to see this. We got to make sure this poll goes wide because I want to see a wide amount of voting on this. I'm really curious to see what people are going to say about this. I absolutely love this. I think we all have really interesting teams, and I would really like to see a good sample size of what people think who has the best team here.
Well, that brings us to Chance Ellison then. He went with Avengers Endgame, Logan, Batman Mask of the Phantasm, Shazam,
Surprise pick.
Sin City, Hellboy: The Golden Army, Hellboy 2: The Golden Army, and Edge of Tomorrow.
He's got good movies. His first 2 are fantastic, and then the rest of his list just goes fucking bonkers.
Yeah, I was like, it's like that traded his second round, his second, third, and fourth round picks for a second first round pick. So it's like you start your draft with 2 first round picks. And then you go to Batman Mask of the Phantasm in the 3rd round. I
draft from me, and that's a me list.
No, it's fine. It's like I thought you were going to take my 6th round pick with your 3rd round pick, and I was going to be annoyed that I missed out on it when you.
I wasn't going to take returns. You were cool.
Well, I'm just saying.
And finally, that brings us to my team, the team that will win. I went with Thor: Ragnarok, Spider-Man: Into the Spider-Verse, Wonder Woman, Deadpool, Joker, V for Vendetta, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
That's a strong list. That's strong.
That's very strong.
That's my roster there. Guys, let us know when we put out the poll. Vote, share with everyone. Let us know who won this movie draft. Jader, I think either you or Steve won the last one for the 2014 draft.
I did.
People just haven't seen Paddington yet. They will come around one day.
Was that your first overall pick?
No, it was. No. I took it.
Wait. You draft was 2017. You said?
Yeah, 2014 movie draft. I know it came out in the UK earlier, but Yeah,
Well, what was the first round pick in 2014?
Guardians of the
number one
Galaxy.
pick.
Guardians. He went Guardians. What did I go with? I think I went Whiplash.
Yeah, of course. I would say Whiplash. Whiplash has got to be up there.
I went Whiplash, and I think Steve went
Gone Girl and
Gone Girl.
Nightcrawler. Those were he had the
And
third.
Nice.
Yeah, he went Nightcrawler and Gone Girl back to back.
How does somebody lose to, or how do you?
It was only 3 people. So
How do you beat Gone Girl Nightcrawler back to back? That's tough to beat.
Oh, I beat that.
That's hard.
How?
I had
Whiplash. He had Whiplash.
I had a pretty good list, dude. I had a pretty good list.
He also drafted Winter Soldier in that draft as well. So,
I absolutely did, and I will forever draft that fucking movie.
It's really hard to lose.
So, everybody, thank you so much for watching. It's been a blast. I love doing these movie drafts, and I hope you guys do too. Let's start with Robert Parker here. Robert Parker, thank you for joining us for the first time, man. I hope you had a good time.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Tell everybody where they can find you, what you want to plug. Tell us about yourself, whatever you want to do. It's your moment.
For sure. So about myself, let's see. Well, I was born in Mequon, Wisconsin in 1998.
I'm a poor black child.
I'm really happy about Wisconsin right now. Congratulations, Wisconsin.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Except for our COVID cases, we're doing bad on that front. But besides that, it's good things. Yeah, you can find me personally on Twitter and Letterboxd at RBRTPRKR98. That's my first and last name, no vowels. Other than that, thank you very much for having me on. This was a ton of fun. Be happy to come back. I really enjoyed just talking shit with people that I like and about stuff that I am really passionate about. So thank you guys.
Okay.
It's a pleasure having you on, man. Chance Ellison, thank you for coming back to the show. I hope you had a great time drafting.
Oh, I did. I mean, like I said, I had 2 first rounders, and then I just got to go nuts.
I love that.
Chance, tell everybody where they can find you, what you got going on in your life.
Twitter, Instagram at ChanceWars_91. Check out my podcast, Notorious by Chance. We just released our episode on the American President this past weekend. This week we're doing Studio Ghibli films, or I got to pull out for that. It's gonna be really fun. And I'll tell you this right now. After that, we're doing movies that became memes. So that's gonna be another fun one.
That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, they can check that out where our podcasts are found.
Django Unchained.
No, this is Django Unchained, right?
Not Django Unchained. Maybe B movie. Who knows? We'll see. But it's
should be your first episode, actually.
Notorious by Chance, wherever podcasts are found. And check the show out. I got a big match coming up, spectacular, doing with some movies like this. So we'll see how that goes.
There you go.
And that brings us to Mr. Barbarian, Craig Gayner. Craig, tell everyone they can find you. You had a very interesting draft here, so thank you for coming back. I hope you had a great time, man.
I had a great time. I always enjoy speaking with you guys. And before I give my plugs, let's do another shot because we're ending the show, and none of us have to drive anywhere, so we're gonna get another shot going in here. I should be named Craig the Enabler.
This is why I love Craig.
Yeah. Right.
Here,
right.
a little grandma, guys. A little grandma.
Oh, grandma, yeah, I love it. All right, everyone. So this has been a fantastic evening. I love just spending time talking about movies with some of my favorite people. You guys are awesome, and Kyle. Anyway,
Love you.
That's
Kyle.
fair. That's fair.
cheers. All right, cheers. Salute.
Cheers, guys.
All right, so you can find me on Twitter at Barbarian Craig. I was on this week's most recent edition of the Inner Geekdom Show. If anyone wants to check that out, at the very end of the show, you'll hear me rapping the Ninja Turtles Turtle Power rap. I didn't mention that that movie here tonight. And let's see here on Twitch, I'm at Mogwai417, MOGWAI, is in the little creatures from Gremlins before they become Gremlins, 417. That's my birthday. And then on Instagram, you can find me at CF Gayner. C is in Craig, F is in Frank, and then GAYNIER is in the French for to win. That's all I do. And if anyone out there feels like friend requesting me on Facebook, I accept most friend requests as long as you're not, going to steal my identity. So there you go.
Boom.
When we gotta unfriend. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you called me out. Kind of.
Go on.
And Jader, any final things you want to say before we take off?
Absolutely. I actually had a match premiere today. It's my first team's tournament. If you guys want to check that out, Movie Trivia Schmodown, check that out. It's me and
I really enjoyed that match, by the way.
Thank you, sir. Coming from you, that means the world to me. So yeah, it's me and my partner Brandon Hanna, which was supposed to be the surprise guest. He got a little backed up; he couldn't join, so he was gonna try to co-host the whole thing to see who had the strong thing, but he couldn't make it, unfortunately. So shout out to my partner. Category 9, we go against the veterans, the odd couple. Fun match, very fun match. So you can check that out. That premiered today. I'll post it on my social media. You can find me on Twitter, InfamousJ13. You can find me on Instagram, InfamousJ13. You can find me on the PSN network if you guys want to play some Call of Duty over the weekend, InfamousJ13. Or if you guys want to play some FIFA on Xbox, InfamousJ13. So just request me where.
Why do you keep using the same name across all platforms? That's really weird.
I don't know.
Yeah, what are you fucking branding yourself out here? What are you talking about?
Consistency for
a different name for everything, like I do.
It's a thing. It's a weird thing. You guys go ahead and vote for the winner of the obvious draft tonight, which is me. I'm so glad. Honestly, it means the world to me that you guys jumped on tonight. Thank you so much. I had a blast. I want to keep doing this. If I could do this once every week, it'd be a great thing. I wish you guys would be repeated guests. Hopefully, Robert Parker, we can get you on a solo episode.
Yeah.
Chance and I are already repeated guests, right?
No, absolutely. But I wanted to become a repeated guest thing.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I'll come back anytime, man.
So yeah, man. I had a blast. Like always, I feel like we all had strong. I love that we picked literally every single film that we picked tonight. I absolutely adore. So I'm glad we got to mention it one way or another.
Talk about 35 fantastic films and
absolutely.
And even more, I talked about 40 fantastic films. The Punisher Warzone. Why did no one draft me?
I think we were shooting the shit on Mike's show, and I think you had just seen Warzone. And you're like, dude, I just saw Warzone. I'm like, wasn't it fantastic? You're like, it was so great. Why haven't I seen this movie before? I'm like, fuck, this movie is so good. It's so cheesy and so great. I loved it. I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, what the fuck, man? Like, what is this shit? But I want more of it. So good.
So good. So good.
And Kyle, what's up, dude?
And that's gonna do it for us, guys. Yeah, no, it froze up on me for a sec. But that's gonna do it for us, guys. Please go out and vote on the poll. Let your friends know about it. Let us know who won, because we really want to get to the bottom of this is all not for nothing. So please go out and vote, and we will see you next time on another episode of the Jader and Kyle Show.